Oh.
My name is Abina Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape to Cape Palmas, mountain back to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Bokonjre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Talk about home affairs, hey, in diaspora, current affairs, hey, reliable information, history, talking about culture.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia. From education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
Thank you very much for joining Focus on Liberia. My name is Sekou Kele, and this is Roundtable Africa. I know my face has been a while since you saw me here, but I'm very happy to join you this evening to discuss a very important topic, the election, lessons from the election from the presidential election of Senegal. Sekou Kele, once again, I'm very happy to join you. I've been a co-host to this program, Roundtable Africa, for close to 2 years before I disappear a little bit due to some personal reasons. I had to attend to some issue, academics and family and other stuff. But I'm back again. I'm very happy to join this platform. Focus on Liberia has been doing very well, as you all know, giving you the best news out there and making analysis and discussing social, political, and religious issues in our society. So today, I'm very happy to come back and then discuss our usual Roundtable Africa. And today we are having a very, very interesting topic, which is lessons from the Senegal presidential elections. So let me make it bigger so we all see. So as you all know, we just witnessed a revolution, a democratic revolution taking place in Senegal, where a 44-year-old man has been elected the 5th president of Senegal. And this election is very, very important. The whole world is talking about it. People in the diaspora are talking about it. People on the continent are talking about it, not just because a young man was elected, but because of what's the circumstances under which he was elected. This is very important. And the time at which he was elected and the political party, the political platform under which he was elected, all of these things, when you put them together, you see that there's something very important going on in Senegal that we need to discuss. And there are lessons for us to learn. And I gave 3 lessons here today that we are going to look at them. The first one, as you all can see, is African youth demand real change and sovereignty. So all over the continent today, if you watch, the young people are yearning for change. They are tired of the old system. They are saying, look, we've tried this systems for over 3, 4, 5 decades now. And we have old people leading us, or what you call educated elite leading us, or what you call the economic elite, rich men and powerful men, or the cabal. All type of groups have led this continent. But when we look behind and we look at the progress So far, we are far backward relative to other people, other countries, and other continents around the world. And the young people are asking questions. Why do we have resources? Why are we so rich in terms of natural resources? But then development is very poor. We don't see infrastructure. We don't have opportunity for jobs. What is going on? Are we incompetent as a people? Is there something wrong with the education we receive? Why is it that we can, when we go to Europe or America and we attend these universities and colleges, we beat people in their classes? Sometimes the best student is an African. Sometimes some of the most outspoken students are Africans. We beat them in classes. The Chinese are not better than us in our colleges and universities. But back home, these people are doing well. They are well organized. Their societies are moving forward. They are making progress in one way or the other. But for some reason, our countries are stagnated. For some reason, our politics is bad. Our economic is bad. There is no infrastructure. Every African appears to have no future until he leaves the continent and finds himself in another place. Then he suddenly discovers his talent. So something is definitely wrong. So the youth are asking for change, and they said they need sovereignty. This is what we need to learn from the Senegal's election. 2, Pan-Africanism remained the greatest political ideology in Africa until date. There are people who thought that Pan-Africanism is over. It was something that happened in the 20th century when Africa was coming up towards independence. You have Marcus Garvey, Kwame Nkrumah later on, and then all these people that pick up these ideas of Pan-Africanism, that Africa must unite. These ideas are outdated, they said. We don't need these ideas anymore. Africans have sovereign countries that are doing well for themselves. Why do we need to talk about Pan-Africanism? But the youth of Senegal are proving us wrong once again, that Pan-Africanism remain a unifying force, remain an ideology that all Africans will gravitate towards whenever you articulate it properly to them. And this is what we're going to learn today about this election. Number 3, democratic revolution is possible without a military war. Without a military coup or war. Okay? There are many people who think the only way we can have a revolution in Africa is for us to take guns to remove the elite from power. We must become rebels. We must destabilize the society before we can remove the people we don't like in power. Or we must do a military coup like we see in Sahel and overthrow presidents. And sometimes it leads to bloodbath and destabilize the country. Sometimes it sends you back 2-3 decades, like what happened in Liberia. But these young men have taught us something in 2024, that look, you can change the system without picking up guns. You can change the system without bloodbath. You can change the system without resorting to violence. You can do it. And the Senegalese young folks have shown that to us that in 2024, that it is still possible to democratically change government without bloodshed. And that's what we're going to learn. The third thing we need to learn here, let me bring it forward so I see, there is no force greater than the people. And people need to learn this. There is no force greater than the people. The people remain the most powerful force in the country, because sometimes we forget that we put these people into power, that they are accountable to us. We forget that a president is not a king. In a democratic setting, a president is a servant of the people. The people delegated their power to you to lead. You are not a king. But sometimes in Africa, we forget. We think these people in political power, somehow they are semi-god, they are demigods, that we need to be afraid of them. Sometimes when you talk against a leader, you find your fellow citizens say that your power equal. That your power equal, you're talking to that, they forget to know that in democracy, there's a doctrine. And that doctrine says power belongs to the people. And it is the people who delegate that power to certain individuals to be able to share their commonwealth, to provide security, to provide peace and harmony in the society. So that power that is delegated to you is not a divine power. It's not a monarchy. It's not certain power that are given to you by certain holy book. It is the people. And that people have the right to scrutinize, to criticize, to protest, to demand change, to demand accountability. This is what this election in Senegal have taught us. And I want us to send a very keen, it's not an issue of a young man is elected. No, it's not that. We have to look at it from another perspective, how these young men came to power. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, you see on the screen, two men. One on the right, as in black, he's called Ousmane Sonko. And the other brother on the left, who is the current president-elect, Bassirou Diomaye Faye. He's the one on my left. Now, you see the name of their political party there in the African map is called PASTEF. And in English, that party is called the African Patriot for Senegal, the African Patriot of Senegal for Work Ethics and Fraternity, created in 2004. Now, there's a reason this party is in the African map. And there's a reason why this party is called the Patriots. There's a reason why it's called a party for workers in Senegal, for ethics and for fraternity. And I'll tell you why. The man called Ousmane Sonko, that's on the left in black, he worked for the government as a civil servant, working in the area of tax and generating revenue for the country. The same thing with Bassirou Diomaye Faye. They all work for the government. Then they discover that the government make a lot of deals and concessions with foreign companies that is benefiting only their families. But some of these concessions and agreements were at the detriment of the countries and the people. These are whistleblowers. This is what people need to know why they were elected. So if you are in civil service right now, you are in government right now, this is what you need to learn, what happened in Senegal. These guys have good life. They graduated. They got good jobs. They were having good positions in the tax offices. They were making money. They could participate in the corruption. They could sign some deals and make money. They can fly their families abroad, take their children to America, France, and Paris, and have some of the best life that they could. But they said, no, there's something wrong with our country. There's something wrong that if they did not reveal this truth, the future of the poor man, the future of that little girl who is selling on the street, hawking at the age of 10, 9, when she was supposed to be enjoying education and other benefit that other people enjoy in the world, that little child on the street, that boy that's riding a wheelbarrow, who was not born to do that, but because the society was designed to make young people not to succeed. That farmer who doesn't have the necessary equipment to produce food for his people, but just struggling with subsistence farming and or using tools that were used in the 19th century to still do farming. They said something is wrong with the society, that our taxpayers, the concession agreements in this government is at the detriment of the country. It was signed, it was a corrupt deal with France, dealing with some oil and gas companies, dealing with other multinational companies from Europe. So these guys were whistleblowers. That's why their party is called Patriots. That's a patriotic act. Because sometimes in my country, Liberia, people think patriotism is to support the government in power. They think patriotism is to support the president. They think patriotism is to be in alignment with the ruling party. No, patriotism is to put an act, is to your action, your deed, and your everything that you do is for the benefit and common good of the people, not the government, not the leadership, not the elite, not the party in power, but for the people. So you can be in opposition and be patriotic. You can be in government and be patriotic. So you don't measure people's patriotism by how much they criticize the government. Oh, you criticize the government, I mean you are not patriotic. No, that could even be my patriotic act. Because patriotism means that I am loyal to my country and to its people. and to the common good of everyone. It means I'm not selfish. It means it's not for my personal gain. It means it's for the benefit of and good of everyone in that country. So PASTEF was created by a group of whistleblowers. Usman Sonko was removed from government. He wrote a book, and that's why he got in trouble. Then they created PASTEF. This party began to mobilize young people around the country. They went to the universities. They started writing on social media and contacting workers in the country and said, look, fellows, if you think this country is working well, why is it our leaders go abroad for treatment? Why is it their children are not going to school here? If this country is so good, why is it that every minister who have health issues that need to do certain complicated surgery has to fly out? If the country is so good, something is wrong. And we are being in government and we saw it, and they produced the evidence. And the young people heard them. And the young people began to rise under the banner of Pan-Africanism. They said, in order for us to rescue our country, there's something we've discovered. We don't even have sovereignty. We don't have sovereignty. Sovereignty is to have the complete ability to control your country. Your economic, your military, and everything that you do is not controlled by external force. But they discovered that France was making most of the decisions for their country. They discovered that to be president, you must make deals with Paris. They find out that the businesses in their country are mostly controlled by Paris. So they said something is wrong. We are not even independent. But every day we come out and celebrate independence, we've been fooled by our political elite with a flag, with a national anthem, and we think we are free. But everything that makes a country to be sovereign has been taken away from us. This is the revolution that these young men started, and they are in their 40s. So they started this in their 30s. And people laughed at them and said, you can't do this. You can't overthrow a whole system, a powerful system that, such as the, how can you do that? So when 2024 got closer, Usman Sonko was arrested and then he'd been in prison. He wasn't in prison, and they charged him for corrupting the youth, and eventually he was struck out of the ballot. They said he was not qualified to run. The court disqualified him. And he decided to choose his successors, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, to run in his state. He said, this is not about me. This is something we need to learn again. The man was barred by the government in power that he will not run because they were afraid of his revolutionary ideology. He said, the Secretary General of my party should take my position and run because we've conducted leadership training in this organization. We have people who are qualified like me. Now, this is something important for us to know, those of you that are in political party in Liberia. Your leaders in your political parties, have they trained you enough that they can trust you, that when something happened to them, they will say, my secretary is powerful enough to carry on the ideology. That when you put them in prison, they can say, the second man in command, take over. This is about an idea. It's not about me. All of you here, if something happened to your party leader right now, you will fold the party. You will close it up. A job we are not run, no CDC. A Joseph Boakai not run, no UP. A Kumi is not run, no ANC. This is not political party. These are personality cults. This is what we are telling you. A political party must be progressive. There must be ideology. And that ideology must be the basis on which the party is built. And every leader in that party, from the first leader to the secretary to every individual, must have training to succeed the leadership immediately. If something happened to A, B takes over. We will not say that if the leader died, then everything over. That kind of messiah mentality is what we have in our political party. That's why I find it difficult to put myself in any political party in Liberia. I'm not going to worship nobody. It is the idea that is important. So Usman Sonko found that he will not run because the president, the government in power were trying to stop him. He said, the Secretary General of my party, take over and run. And they won the election. This is what you call political party. The idea is what holds the people together. Everyone have received training to understand that you cannot betray the party ideology, because this is what we follow. This is our economic ideas. This is our platform. We have a blue book or green book where we put out our ideas and sell it to the people. And whoever is part of that party, we should train you enough to be able to champion that idea. It must not be about a particular person. That's what they did in Senegal. That's why their election was a revolutionary one. Now, I move to the next slide. The election of these young men, Omar Jamal Faye, it have an implication. And that's the implication I want to discuss to you. The France-Afrique, the geopolitical implication. You see, I will tell you something about the France-Afrique geopolitical system that's going on in Africa. At the dawn of independence in Africa in the 1960s, the French found out that their colonies were going towards independence. So they asked them, do you want to be independent? Because we see many other English-speaking countries, Ghana just got independent and other people were trying. So the French decided that they will also give pseudo-independence. Listen to me, pseudo-independence to the French country, which means fake independence. So this independence will be based on a pact that will make an agreement that France will have a lot of stakes in these countries. They will have a say in their political system. They will have a say in the economics. They will have certain control in these so-called independent states. Sékou Touré of Guinea refused. That's why he made the famous speech, nous préférons la pauvreté dans la dignité que la richesse dans l'esclavage. We prefer poverty with dignity than riches in slavery. We don't want that. So they say, okay, we're going to deal with you. They say also Mobutu of Mali. They said Keita. They said, okay, Modibo Keita, you also joined Touré. They also decided to strangle the economy of Guinea, to strangle the economy of Mali. Now, there were countries that agreed to this agreement. Senegal was one, Cote d'Ivoire was two, Gabon, Togo, Chad. Now, Senegal became the administrative and intellectual headquarters of this geopolitical system called France-Afrique. If you find out, all their central bank of their CFA is in Senegal. All the French activities, their headquarters, academics, and anything cultural in West Africa, the headquarters is in Senegal. Then Cote d'Ivoire was chosen to be the economic headquarters for France-Afrique due to the cocoa and the coffee of Houphouët-Boigny at the time. Then Chad became the military headquarters of the France-Afrique. Togo and Gabon were affiliated to all of these other groups. Now, you can take away Mali from France-Afrique, no problem. You can take away Burkina Faso, no problem. They always been stubborn. But when you take away Senegal, you take away Cote d'Ivoire, the French system in West Africa is dead. That's why it was crucial for them to remove Ousmane Sonko to be the leader, because the France-Afrique system continue to exploit the economy of these countries, continue to make these people to be second-class French citizens. It continue to make them, disconnect them from the West of African people. This is why they needed to fight. The currency they are using, the CFA. France is in charge of this currency, which is pegged against the euro. But French government is the one that designed this currency. They're the one who print it. They are the one who control it. So these countries now are waking up. These young men that just got elected, they said they will put a blow in the France-Afrique system, that they are done with this system. No more should France control their economy. They said there has to be a new African, West African currency separated, independent of France control, or Senegal will have its own currency. That's revolutionary. They are about to rewrite, roll away all the concessions agreement done by the French company to exploit their country, to impoverish their nation. And I need to say this for most of you who don't understand. When we say Western countries are exploiting African countries, there are some of you who don't get it. You are like, well, we got leaders, we got presidents, they are corrupt, they are the problem. Yes, that's one factor. Our leaders are corrupt. That's very true. We have leaders who are incompetent. That's very true. But what you don't know is that 60 to 70% of these leaders came to power by the help of these foreign countries. That's one thing you need to note. The second thing you note is that the European countries are making dubious concession agreement with our government, threatening them behind door, making them to sign some concession agreement to be giving raw and natural resources out, almost free of charge. Why is it that we've not been able to build factories in these countries? Recently, the president of Uganda, Museveni, he said he called Toyota and all of these companies to come to his country to establish assembling plant for these cars. They said no. They prefer to export the cars to those countries than to build assembly plant in this country to assemble these cars. So he said, okay. He decided to go different place to get different companies. Then now they came back. He said, no, now you have to come and manufacture here. They said, no, 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 no. Part of the concession agreement is that we cannot manufacture in your country. We can only bring the finished product. Do you know many African countries have signed this agreement that they are not going to manufacture cars? They will not manufacture certain things. They will only give the raw material to the industries in Europe. That's a big problem. Why will any country sign an agreement that you will not build factories for this material, but you will rather ship them raw material to the European country, and then they bring back the finished product? Those are the concessions agreement that you, the people, don't know about. And they exist. A lot of them exist. In fact, when you assign those agreements, quickly you start to get money from World Bank. Sometimes what they do, they tie it to the loan you want to get from World Bank or whatever you want to get to IMF. They tie it together. If you accept this agreement, this is what you're going to get. This is what you're going to get. And because the president is running against election, he wants to show to his people that he accomplished something. So now they will just sign some of this bogus agreement supported by their political parties, and then you will just find few roads and few lights on your street. You are happy, dancing, and then you are going to suffer for it for 200 years. Firestone in Liberia. Why are they not manufacturing tires? Are you guys asking that question? Why are they not manufacturing tires? ArcelorMittal or whatever they call them that take your iron ore. Why are they not processing, making the steel and other things in your country? Why are they not producing it there? Oh no, you don't have. Why don't you have? If they said no electricity, why can't they invest? We build a power plant. Because when you process these things there, all of our youth will get jobs. That's it. Our country will be lifted out of poverty, because once the youth get jobs in these factories, they are able to take care of themselves. Then the next thing is to educate their children. And once they can educate their children, we are producing a group of educated, a generation of educated people. And once you have a generation of educated people, that's it. That's progress right there. Because these educated people will make informed decisions. They will vote the right people. They will question policies. That will lead to building strong institutions. That will lead to building good healthcare infrastructure and other things. The country is moving forward. You can't do all of that with a hungry, illiterate people. It can't work. Okay? People who are hungry and are illiterate are likely to vote on sentiment. Yeah. Oh, that man is going to my church. I will vote for him. Oh, this man, his name is Abdullah, a Muslim. I will vote for him. Oh, this man here, his last name is Zakpa, so he's from a county. I will vote for him. These are the reasons people vote. Instead of this guy is competent, I've looked at his ideas. I've looked at what he put forward. How do you reverse all of these things? These young men are saying we will reverse every contract done by Senegal that does not favor the people. We will reverse it. We are not driving anybody away. We are not military people. We are not going to go around and say, "Why we don't want white people in our country." No, it's not about that. We don't want these other companies. It's not about that. But every agreement that is signed must be to the benefit of our people. That's the essence of politics. It's for me to help my people, to lift them up. Every generation must be able to make a leap from one step to the other. We can't be discussing electricity for 100 years. No roads, 100 years. No food, 100 years. That means that something is wrong. Okay? So this is what these young people want to reverse. And they said the idea that politics will be lucrative, that once you are in politics, you are in money. Once you are in politics, you are necessarily supposed to be wealthy. You are supposed to be better off. That's an idea that has been planted by corrupt people. Politics was supposed to be a place of sacrifice, a place of patriotism, just like soldiers. When they go into when they join the army force, it's not for them to be rich. It's for them to defend their nation. It's for patriotism. It's for them to give their life for their countrymen and women. That's the same thing supposed to be for politics. It's not to go and grow big belly. It's not to go there and be speaking grammar and be going to holiday in Paris and be going for holiday in New York. That's not the purpose of politics. This is a colonial idea that we try to continue. So these young men are saying that we are going to get away with the France-Afrique agreement. We want new partnership. We want new agreement of what they call in their French, gagnant-gagnant, win-win. You win, I win. But you cannot bring an economic idea that benefits you. It does not benefit my people. I won't sign up to that. You can be taking raw material. We also want to build factories. We want our people to work. We want our people to be in industries. And we want our people. The black man have all the. He's capable of learning any skills. If a white man can be pilot, a black man can be a pilot. If a white man can be anything, a black man can be the same. We have the same intellectual capacity. As far as science and evolution is concerned, we all have the same intellectual capacity. So for what reason should they progress and we don't? It's because a system has been put in place to make that happen. And all you need to do is to dismantle that system and you get a new result. This is what the young men of Senegal are about to do. Now, there are challenges. Of course, there are challenges. And these are the challenges we're going to look at. You see the picture, the two photos that are on your screen. The one on the left, it was their campaign flyer. When Ousmane Sonko, the leader of PASTEF party, was barred from running, he chose a secretary general to run in his state. And on the flyer for their campaign, it says in Wolof, Jomai Moi Sonko. This is Wolof, Jomai Moi Sonko, which means Jomai is Sonko. Jomai is Sonko, meaning Jomai carried the same idea, aspiration, and training that Sonko has. Jomai has the same vision and aspiration that Sonko has. So a vote for Jomai is a vote for Sonko. This is what they sold to the people. Now, on the right-hand side is now President-elect Jomai, now working into the State House, what you call Executive Mansion in Liberia. This happened today or yesterday. He went to see the State House as they prepare for his inauguration. Behind him is Ousmane Sonko. They are both of them walking on the red carpet. Now, The first challenge for their leadership, as many analysts have said, is the friendship between these two people. Will it turn into rivalry that may pose a challenge to their vision? Because Sonko was supposed to be the president today. He is the one who mobilized the nation. He is the one who the youth listen to. He is the symbol of this revolution. 1 month ago, nobody knew Jomai Faye. 1 month ago, Jomai Faye was nowhere. But Usman Sonko has been in the trenches, spreading his ideas, going to prison, losing friends, making sacrifices. He recruited Jomai to join this revolution. But today, the system prevented him from running. When he chose his Secretary General is now president. People are saying that this friendship might not last. Because in politics, the politics of interest will show up. Then the external forces who do not want Sonko to be president might begin to influence the president. Because if anything you know about power, power corrupts. And when men get drunk with power, they make funny decisions, they make weird decisions. Sometimes their decision can be very, very incredible. So we are worried. The people of Senegal are worried that Jomai Faye and Usman Sonko is the incarnation of this revolution. But Jomai Faye is the one carrying the torch. What's going to happen now? Will Usman Sonko be pressurizing him to fulfill the promises to the people? And will he get fed up with that pressure and keep him aside? It's possible. Will the French intelligence begin to use some of the civil servants to lie to the president and say Usman Sonko wants to control you or overthrow you, and that might lead to him despising his comrade? All of that is possible. It is always difficult for the revolution not to eat his own children. This is the worry of everybody. Will Jomai Faye implement all the ideas of Pastef? He is not charismatic, although Usman Sonko has presented him to be a very organized young man. That he's very organized, he's good at writing, he's good at analysis, research, than talking. Usman Sonko is the charismatic leader, but Jomai Faye, according to Usman Sonko himself, he's more organized, he's more intellectual in terms of paperwork, academic work, because he has worked in the civil service as well. But the worry is that these men, will they keep together? Will they keep the friendship alive? Will they maintain this brotherhood and be able to deliver their promises to the Senegalese people? This is the first challenge. The second challenge that we have is the sabotage that will come from the external forces. Because anytime an African leader or leadership try to talk about sovereignty, talk about separation from the West, the first thing they do is to sabotage your economy. They will make sure that you become an example to the other people. Of course, a bad example. They don't want you to succeed, because when you succeed, it will become an inspiration to other people to do the same. So they will do everything within their power to make sure that these young men do not succeed. That will be a challenge for them, how they will set up their diplomatic forces. So say, look, when you are doing campaign and you do all those rhetorics, it's good. But when you are in power, what is important is how to deliver. And to deliver, sometimes you have to be diplomatic in your approach. Being diplomatic doesn't mean you have to compromise your stand. It means that you establish a working relationship with this organization and find a more amicable way to be able for you to be able to get through. Find people who are good in negotiation, people who are very good in international relations, people who are very good in maintaining some of this, keeping a revolutionary idea, but also not making it very destructive to an extent where you do not even achieve your goal. This will be a test for them on that. Because the Western world are very, very good at sabotaging people's economy. You saw what they did to Russia at the verge of Ukraine war. The first thing they did was to make sure that the Russian economy crumbles. They put sanctions upon sanctions. They created every reason to put sanctions. But countries like Russia was already prepared. Their economy is very strong. They got industry. They produce most of the things they need. And they have China backing them up. And they did a lot of work to be able to keep their economy floating. But when you do that to an African country, the result might turn out different. So we are not saying, yeah, we must stand up to the bully. They must confront these people. But now it's time for them to set up their diplomatic order in place. Around the West African zone, they need to get as many friends as possible and be able to challenge these false agreements that are hurting their country, and also be able to create new partners, bringing new investors, new agreements that benefit Senegal and that lead to industrialization. This is a challenge which the people are waiting for them to be able to achieve. Another challenge that will be facing these people will be the issue of removing the old class from the civil service. Because when you do a revolution like this, the old guard are there. Some of them are in the military, they are in the police, they are in the civil service. So you need to come with a new team. The good ones among them, yeah, you keep them, but you need a new team that will actually come in to be able to put everything in order. Otherwise, some of these guys, they use government, they think government is their profession. They want to stay in government forever. They will sabotage your economy. They will find every means to be able to remove you so that their old corrupt masters can come back to power so they can continue to exploit the economy. So these are things to clean the house and bring in a vibrant team. And selecting the right people is part of your success. Because if you don't have the right people, no matter your good ideas, it will never, never, ever succeed. Because you won't be in every place at all times. So that's the challenges these young men are having. And we look forward to that, and we hope they succeed. Now, here's a great opportunity for them and for all the African youth. The opportunity that the Sonko Fire ticket has is that if they succeed, they will inspire an entire generation of Africa, what I call the E generation of Africa. The E generation of Africa is the internet, is the internet online generation, the generation of internet, the generation that have access to digital education, a generation that have used internet, have used Wi-Fi, have used technology to communicate, to produce, and to do businesses. This generation has a very great opportunity to save the continent. So these young men are part of this generation. So if they succeed, they will have inspired an entire generation of African youth to take power away from the old corrupt leaders. It will be an opportunity to break free from the cabal and godfatherism. That if you can't be president if you don't have a godfather. You can't be successful if you don't have a group of cabal supporting you. Okay? They will demystify that part of politics in Africa. That no, all you need to do is to sell your ideas to the people. You don't need godfathers. You don't need cabals. You don't need to sell religious sentiment and tribal sentiments to win. All you just need to do is to design a program that you are sure you can be able to implement and sell it to the people. Once the people buy those ideas, you are elected and you implement that contract that you have with the people. It will no longer be, I come from this religion, so you should elect me. I come from this county, I'm your son, so you elect me. No, no, no. I'm son of the soil. What does that mean? Okay? It will be about competence and character. Because these two young men did not run on the ticket of religious sentiment. They did not run, as for Senegal is majority Muslim and they are Muslim, but they did not run on that ticket. There are many sects. They did not run on any sect. They did not run on tribalism. In fact, both of them might probably come from different ethnic groups. But in Senegal, ethnic group is irrelevant. All of them speak Wolof. So they didn't run on that ticket. They didn't run necessarily on age. So say just because we are young, so elect us. They said the system that our fathers have been running on since the 1960s is a system that does not give us sovereignty. It's a system that does not give us dignity. It's a system that will not bring prosperity to our country in the next 500 years. So we need to dismantle this system and build a new foundation, a foundation of transparency, a foundation of competence, a foundation of efficiency, civil service that is efficient, a foundation where the institutions are strong and independent, so that being president does not give you the power to corrupt the judiciary. It does not give you the power to control the legislature. You are president, you are just one branch of government. So you can't interfere with the judiciary. You can't interfere with the affair of the legislative. These are things that are missing in African countries. So the pseudo-democracy that we are practicing, where the institution, we actually elect kings and the king take over all the institution, but on paper we lie that we have democracy. So these young men are saying, if we are going to practice democracy, then we have to play by the rule. If they succeed in doing that, that would change the politics on the continent, and especially in the West African region. And young people, because recently, mind you, when the young man took over power in Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré, then Assimi Goïta of Mali, then you have Cheni of Niger. Young people were beginning to be inspired by the young man in Burkina Faso, because they became symbol of what leadership should look like, or what young people should aspire to become in West Africa. That is, to become president, you must do a military coup. You must become a strong man. You must have the pistol hanging on your side when you are walking, and people clap for you on the street. But what the young Senegalese have done, they'll change the narrative. That no, that's not the only way to bring change in your country. You can also rally people. You can also sell your ideas. You can create political manifesto, and you can organize society, civil rights movement. You can do these things and overthrow the system and bring in new ideas. You can do that successfully. It's not necessarily through the bullet. So this is what they are going to inspire young people to do. Then secondly, they will set Senegal on the path of irreversible progress by making genuine reforms and industrialize the economy. If they succeed by focusing on industrializing the economy, then every young people on the continent will say, this is the way forward. What Senegal has done, this is what we must do here. And that's how it's going to inspire every African youth. Then they will have to deal with the issue of corruption, bring efficiency in civil service, strengthen institutions, and invest in health and education. Because many African leaders always forget when they get into power. They think their people want few street lights to celebrate, pay few kilometers of road, and gather people. Oh, he built few kilometers of road and he put 2 light poles. Then they have a big party and said they are commissioning the project. And they eat, or they spend almost $10,000 to commission the project, or even more, sometimes 100,000. They are commissioning a project that maybe certain NGO kind of like financed or funded, a program that's just $500,000. Then they will spend nearly $100,000 to organize a big party, invite musicians. Then the president will walk on red carpet to go and commission that project, and that project doesn't even last a few years, and then it's done. These are kind of these mediocre projects that have been done all over the continent. A real transformation, a real progress, real development is to actually set up project, state-of-the-art project that will transform, even when you leave leadership, when a new president comes in, but it will automatically transform the nation's economy. It will transform the national, the face of the country. It will transform even the way the administration, everything about the country. Let's say, for example, you want to change the issue of power in the country. You don't focus by putting few solar light pole here and there. You start thinking, what power plant can we put in place that can supply this country electricity 24/7, and also, if possible, sell some of the power out to the neighboring country? What power plant can we put in place in the next 5 years that can supply this entire country 24-hour electricity, and we were able to even supply other countries? That's the way you start a project. Then you find a way and finance it, and then you get it done. You have solved almost 10% or 20% of the problem, because now industries will come in because you have stable light. You will create little job all around. Not a few light poles. Okay? When you want to build hospital, think about what is the health institution that I will build. That if no leader in this country, no elite in this country needs to fly out to get any treatment. What medical facility can I put in place that can be able to treat at least some of the most important areas in healthcare can be able to be taken care of? What health insurance scheme can I put in place that a market woman can fall down and people will call the ambulance and she will be taken straight to the hospital and be treated without being asked for a dime? How can I do that? That a man in Granjida, a man in Lofa, somewhere in his village can fall down, and then there will be ambulance will appear in less than 15 minutes to pick him up or her up and go for treatment. This is the way leaders should think. But what our leaders do is that, what can I do to please my party people so they dance on the street and say, I do this? These are not patriotic people. They are not visionaries. The petty things project they are doing. You have to do project that will uplift an entire generation. If it is even that one project you have to do, it's fine. The next leadership will continue. Imagine if John Weah have solved electricity problem in Liberia once and for all. Let's say that's the only thing he did. He created a state-of-the-art power plant that actually supply the entire country 24/7 electricity. You think Joseph Boakai will have to talk about electricity? No, he will start thinking of road infrastructure only and say, my project will make sure that we have highways connecting all the consistent counties, and we have roads that lead to all our farms and be able to bring our product to the market. If he does that, the next president is not focusing on that. He's only going to maintain them. But all they do is they are not really prepared for these jobs. And they make governance to be so difficult. They make it seem that it's some kind of mystery to lead. They make it seem as if it is rocket science to lead a country. No, it's not rocket science. That's why the whole youth and Pan-African youth around the world are supporting these young men to succeed in Senegal. When they succeed, it will demystify power, governance in West Africa, and young people who are visionary will begin to take the lead, will begin to rise up, not by the gun, but by the ballot, and through civil rights movement, and through agitation, and through accountability, organizing themselves into political parties to be able to occupy different government positions and implement this change that they are yearning for. The internet generation, the E generation, of Africa has no excuse. We have an electronic system that have made services faster, 10 times faster than it has ever been in history. And we have the opportunity to change our countries. We have the opportunity to do better for our citizens anytime we have given the opportunity. We serve with patriotism. And this is what we look forward to from the people of Senegal. And this is why this election of this young man was very, very important. That's why I bring this information to you today, that Senegal election is very consequential and there's a lot to learn from it. And we that are in politics as young people on the continent, we need to learn from some of these things. We don't have to be part of the old system to say it's impossible to win election if a young man start a political party. So it's impossible for me to win election. I don't have all these $1 million. So I need to compromise. I need to join the system. No, you don't have to. If you really believe in your idea, continue to sell your idea, continue to push. And one of the important things you need to learn about this party in Senegal, even when they lost the last election in 2019, they didn't disappear from the political scene. They went into the rural area and began to create agricultural projects, planting trees, because you know Senegal is closer to the Sahel. So they are facing the climate change is affecting that country because the Sahara Desert is pushing in. So what the PASTEF party have done is to make sure that they plant thousands of trees in the interior and tell their people, look, if we have to preserve our land and have arable land, we have to fight the desert. We have to plant trees. These are parties that are revolutionary. They are visionary. In Liberia, when politics and all the political leaders, they fly to America and they relax, they move to one luxurious hotel or the other until when election is approaching, then they come back. But what these young men did in Senegal, they went to the rural area and started planting trees, started doing agricultural projects, started telling people how to set up entrepreneurship, hosting workshops on entrepreneurship, how young men can start up their own businesses. They don't need to wait for government jobs. This is what you call revolutionary party. This is what party was supposed to be about. Okay? When you lose election, it doesn't mean that's the end. It means that you find a way to create projects that will still have impact on the people. So with that, gentlemen, I thank you for joining Focus on Liberia today on Roundtable Africa. I will see you again next week with another show, probably on a different topic, now Senegal. But hopefully if there's any update from Senegal, we'll also let you know. And we will continue to give you the best analysis here and give you the Pan-African and the Afrocentric perspective of politics, economics, science, education, and etc. So with that tonight, I say thank you. This is Sekou Kere signing out.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am